Hello there. In 2020, our world changed. I don't know if it was for the better or if our world changed for the worse. In 2020, we've experienced this little thing called COVID-19. A lot of people have stories to tell, as well as their experiences and how COVID impacted them. Today, we'll be talking about those stories. So please, stay tuned as we describe those stories.
Now to growing concerns about the deadly coronavirus officially hitting the U.S. Here's what we know.
This is breaking news from Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Several breaking developments tonight in the coronavirus outbreak.
The first, a major announcement from President Trump.
We will be suspending all travel from Europe to the United States for the next 30 days.
Also breaking, New York City St. Patrick's Day parade now postponed.
More breaking news to tell you about the NBA tonight, suspending its season until further notice after a player tests positive for COVID-19.
Well, that does not sound good. Does not sound fun at all. I may be a little sick right now. I really don't know what it is. And so, because of that, I think right now could be a good time to tell a story. This story, I've kind of documented / I've written books about it. And so like these books right here, including that one, these are made, that one. And then I have some other books that I'm still working on and still writing. These books can be the whole entire video. But we're not going to just be focusing on that book. Or just all of these books. Because that would be like a feature film, movie. We don't have the time for that. I could be sick. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with my cough, my nose, and all that. So, this story that we'll be telling today, it's about COVID-19. I think it's fitting because I could be sick. I don't know. Before we jump into things, I wanted to let you all know that within this video, I will be showing screenshots and photos of me throughout that day and within that event. Please feel free to stop, read those screenshots, and kind of feel immersed through this story that we're about to tell. My friends have been able to help all out with this video, tell their ideas and their thoughts as well, including mine. So you all are in for a fun venture. So real quickly, this video takes place early March of 2020. So let's get into it. March 3rd and 5th. First off, here are a couple screenshots or emails that I received leading up to March 11th. During this time, COVID really wasn't on my mind. I remember early December, or like after our winter break, my friend Ian was talking about how COVID, this thing, was going on. And my roommates also brought up some concerns. Before we left for spring break, I remember my roommates really having a full-on conversation about it. And I thought, oh, we would get back and have to quarantine in the dorms for like 2 weeks. And it would stop the spread. I thought it would be fun if we could do that, because I would be able to see my friends, hang out with them still, and all of that. But little did I know, something big was going to happen. Let's see what my other friends have to say about this.
I'd heard rumblings of it. I remember, like, I was doing laundry, and I was with a friend, and they were showing me, like, all the stats rolling through, and, like, just hearing, like, a news report here, a news report there, but,
Yeah.
I don't know, I didn't really think it'd be that big of a deal.
About COVID before they announced, hey, we're shutting things down due to COVID.
Yes, Dr. Walsh. I took a CJS class with Eli and Catherine, and we sat together. And I remember my professor from criminal justice, we always had a section dedicated for like the first 8 minutes of class to talk about current events. And I do specifically remember him in January and then even bits of February talking about like COVID was introduced. You guys hear about this thing happening in like China right now? Do you hear about this thing happening in Europe and slowly like progressing to other places? So I really enjoy reading the news. So I also heard about it when it like first came to the US or just started to spread more rapidly even before the March 11th date. So to answer your question, yeah, I have heard about it before.
Yeah, our teachers were like talking about it, and they were saying how we should like bring all our textbooks home every single day in case school gets canceled.
How did you feel about hearing about that from your teachers?
I was like, okay, I don't know why you guys want me to fill my book bag up every single day for no reason. But then there was a reason.
I remember hearing about it during like winter break. Like it was something small across like the world. I never thought it would work its way to be like a global thing. And then maybe in like January or February, it started like spreading throughout the world. I'm like, still, there's no way, especially because like us, we've never experienced anything like this in our lives, like a disease going around the world. And then, like, out of the blue in March, you know, we just got that call. We weren't going back to school after spring break. And I was like, dang, this is something that's real and legit. And I think that's the first time I really felt it. But that was at least my experience. I thought this was like, no way this is something that would happen. And then all of a sudden it was happening, you know?
With COVID, I think I heard stuff just, like, around my friend group that, like, oh, like, someone ate a bat, blah, blah, blah. Now there's like a disease going around, blah, blah, blah. And then me and my friends like kind of anticipated that we were going to be like extended out of school for a little bit. We obviously didn't realize that like it was going to be for so long. And even like some of my friends I know were thinking, being like, oh no, Frem's not going to do that. It's like, it's not real, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, that's kind of how it all started. And then they announced it at our school being like, yeah, so we're extending spring break to be one more week. And then we were like all excited about it.
Yeah, I think I definitely knew about COVID before like the spring break. I remember like hearing about like, I think this is like late February or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, I just remember like in like late January, early February. I remember hearing about like there was an outbreak or something in China and of like a virus, and so I remember hearing that, and then I think they were saying it's called like coronavirus or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I thought much of it because like I don't know, it's so far away.
Yeah.
Then I remember hearing like it was like spreading all over Italy, and they were locking down. And again, like I was like, oh dang, that's scary. But I also thought, okay, like that's really far away. And then as we entered spring break, I remember like there were like talks about like there's people in the States that are getting it. But I think like, yeah, I mean, obviously there was that one day or whatever during spring break where like everything shut down. I think that was like, I was like, oh crap, this is like this is like a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd heard about it like on the news and stuff like beforehand. I just didn't really maybe know I don't know, like that it was gonna. I don't think I expected it to like come here, I guess.
I mean, I never actually had COVID, so dub for me.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I remember like the day I was a sophomore in high school. And our last day of school, I was supposed to have badminton practice. And we were in 8th period, I was in Gov. And then our principal came on the announcements and she was like, oh, no after school activities today. And I think that next week was spring break already.
Yeah.
And they were like, just stay tuned with emails throughout spring break. And then they were like, yeah, we're not going to come back at all. So that was kind of rough. I mean, just because it was so abrupt,
mm-hmm.
I just like didn't get to see my friends for like months. I spent most of my time on FaceTime, which is like glad we had that.
Yeah.
If this happened like, you know, like however many years ago, then like how would you even be like at least we had FaceTime and Zoom and all that.
Yeah.
But And honestly, it wasn't too bad for me. Like, I would have my friends come to my house sometime, or not my house, but we would like sit in my like driveway and we like draw with chalk and stuff and like stay outside. We had like a Halloween party in my garage. I'm trying to remember what else. It was a while ago.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry.
No, you're all good.
But I just remember junior year after we came back. I want to say it was after like Labor Day or something. We started to do the hybrid, where it was like 2 or 3 days a week you would go into school, and just the people that would like not have their masks on right and all of that were so irritating. But yeah, I chose to go back in person, and like I was in school half the week, and then senior year we were still masking, and I had my teaching internship, so half the day I'd also be with 5th graders, and I would like go to work at a Chinese restaurant like 3 times a week, and I never got COVID. I don't know how. It was so weird because I was like everywhere, but I was masking. I got my vaccines and everything.
That's amazing.
So, socially, it was rough, but I made it work.
So, recalling when I was a freshman, once upon a time, I was in my dorm room, and I remember reading like articles about this outbreak. And I'm like, oh, it's not a big deal. They'll get it taken care of. I recognize the early, like, the rise, but like I didn't, like, it wasn't on my mind like 24/7. Like I wasn't like, COVID, no, I wasn't like that. No.
So I was actually a freshman in high school at that time, and I remember I was in my geometry class, and my friend at the time turned to me and was like, "Oh, have you heard about like the coronavirus? My mom said it might shut the schools down." And I just remember like laughing. I was like, "That's not gonna happen," and then it kind of happened.
Did you hear about COVID before they actually announced, "Hey, we're shutting down the university due to COVID," and all that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think everybody had maybe heard of COVID, or like heard at least of COVID, maybe not know what it was exactly, but definitely heard of it before the university shut down. Honestly, everything around that time period is kind of fuzzy, because I remember it was around spring break, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was around spring break, so that's maybe 2 months into spring semester, maybe 3 months. 3 months into spring semester.
March 11th was when we got the email.
When we got the info. And I don't know, I know we were on spring break when we got the email, but I don't know much like outside of that. Like I can't remember what I was like, what spring break, like where I was exactly, or anything like that. But for some reason I feel like I was in Iowa, but I don't know if that's true. But regardless, yeah, everything's kind of fuzzy around that time, but that crap was wild. But it's made school a lot easier.
All those tests or group tests that weren't supposed to be group tests.
Well, not necessarily being group tests. It's like that following semester, all my teachers were like, well, this isn't how I normally do class. I don't know how to do class anymore. So it was like, just a lot of my teachers were just like, sorry, life is really hard on you guys. You guys get multiple attempts on all these tests. And it's like, okay. And everything was obviously like on ReggieNet or whatever. So it was just like, you could just take your tests. Some of my teachers were just like, take it as many times as you want, but they were really long tests. So it's like, I really didn't want to, I don't know, retake them a bunch of times because it was a time suck. But
yeah. So as we are listening to me, I'll have screenshots from our president, screenshots from my RA, and just photos of things that I did throughout March 11th. March 11th was a very fateful day, and I really remember what happened. I remember what happened throughout that day, and where I was at when we got the email. Me, Dan, Andrew, and Luke, we were all on this trip with our church, where we got to work down in Tennessee and got to serve people and help people out. And it was a really fun trip. I highly recommend doing a trip like that. It was SOS, serve over self. And so, if you all want to hear more about that, I can make a video about it, but not right now, because we're talking about COVID. But that day, March 11th, we had like a free day. So we got to go to a museum, and we had a big dinner planned. It was at some barbecue place that I forgot its name. And real quick, some background. Before March 11th, I remember hearing other schools shutting down because we went on this trip with another school, and they found out Monday that their school was shutting down, and it was more of they're getting an extended break, and just we got to see things from a different school's point of view before our school made that decision. A part of us was like, oh yeah, it won't happen to us. And then it did. And that was scary. In the moment when we got that email, I was walking to the barbecue place with everyone, and I remember people being happy, excited, but I wasn't. I was kind of nervous and scared because I didn't know what was going to happen, where I was going to live after this, because I didn't want to go home because my family, everyone in my family was immunocompromised, and I didn't want to risk it. And so because of that, I was scared, being like, okay, what's going to happen? What am I going to do? Where am I going to live? And so that was majority of my feeling. We had an RA on the trip, and people were asking that person questions because we were like, okay, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And thankfully things got figured out throughout that trip with housing situation and just all of that. But it was a scary time. Let's see how other people feel about it.
So ISU hadn't sent me the email yet. I was home with my family, about 2 hours away, and we were getting news reports that states nearby were shutting down their highways.
Yeah.
So me and my brother because we were anticipating like everything's going to get shut down in Illinois soon. So we made an impulse drive down to Illinois to go grab some of my stuff, because I'd only gotten enough stuff to, last me a week, because we were on, what was that, spring break?
It was.
So I had to get some more stuff. So we drove down really quickly and grabbed everything. And I think the day after is when they fully shut everything down.
When you got the email, March 11th, being like, yo, we're shutting down, or essentially it was, we're extending the breaks, how did you feel about that?
I was hyped. I was like, yo, I get another week off of school. This is like, life is easy. So I don't remember, I was probably working still at the time. So I was like, I probably came back to school because I had to continue doing my job. And I don't feel like anything was really different other than I didn't have classes. So I was like, I just had a lot more free time. I think I just probably played video games more or something. I don't know.
Oh, that's fair.
But I was definitely hyped. I think everybody was hyped. It was like, yo, no more school. But then at the same time, it was like, yo, what's going on here? Something's not right. But
yeah.
I knew once we got quarantined, I was like, we're not coming back. It's gonna take a while.
Yeah.
We're not responsible enough to handle this.
Fair. Room.
Okay, sorry, this is an unpopular opinion, but the shutdown actually wasn't that bad for me. And one, I was in Texas. There wasn't much of a shutdown. We didn't go to school, but we pretty much did everything else just with a mask on if you chose to wear it. Mask wearing was optional. And so I would go anywhere, I'd have my mask. I would avoid certain places where I knew that I could get sick, but I was only out for a semester. I went back to school in the fall and just wore a mask for 2 years. But I used COVID at that point in time. I was like, trying to figure out what I wanted to do with like dance and stuff. I was a competitive dancer at the time, so I used that like quarantine. I had all this free time because no one was giving out assignments. My bio teacher, our homework was to watch a movie. Like it was bad. And so I just used that time to like train as much as possible for dance so that when I was back in the season, I was stronger. So it really wasn't that bad for me.
I do remember that you were there too. We were in Memphis, and specifically, we were at this restaurant, Central Barbecue, I think. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I remember in that time, one person like checked their Outlook email on their phone and noticed we received an email saying we were going to be like going home for like 2 weeks and not going to be returning for a little bit. In that time, I think everyone was like celebrating, woo, and some people were like really worried, like, I don't want to go home. Like, what am I going to do? Like, where am I going to go? I think there was a mix of like celebratory people like me, but also worried people, like just that I observed in that time period. In a personal sense, as the weeks kind of continued, I realized I was like, oh no. Like when they sent the official email saying we're going to be like, staying at home for a lot longer, I was pretty shocked. And it's pretty stunned.
I was frustrated. I was upset because it was my freshman year of college. You know, I was really starting to find myself at ISU. I was doing well. I was, you know, getting adjusted. I was getting acclimated. Things were going well, and then all of a sudden, everything just collapsed. And as the first in my family to attend college, like that was really frustrating because not only was I transitioning to college, like it felt like I was, you know, all on my own, but like I was also moving back home and trying to navigate like so many like different things. Like I was trying to navigate, you know, living at home and doing stuff online. It was hard. Like I was frustrated and I was upset. It was tough.
Honestly, I first, like, when our school announced that like we were gonna take like an extra week break, I know exactly where I was in my high school. I was literally just like about to go to like the preschool room and all that stuff. And I was so excited. I was so stoked because it's like I was a sophomore, so it was like, okay, I'm like mid in my like high school years. I'm so ready for an extra break. So it was like I felt so relieved and I was so happy that like I just got an extra break to do like more things, relax even more. But then like once things started to shut down, I wasn't able to do cheer anymore. I had to wear a mask everywhere. It was just like I didn't like it at all, and it was really new, I guess, to me. So then once that 2-week break turned even longer, I was like, okay, there's something legitimately wrong with this world. And like I was scared, but at the same time I wasn't scared. Like I was scared not knowing what the world's gonna go back to, if it was ever gonna go back to this again.
Yeah.
But at the same time I was like, okay, cool. I don't need to go back into school and like actually do stuff, because especially when I was a high schooler, like I wasn't really good with like academics and all that stuff. Now I'm completely fine. My grades have never been better. But back in high school, it was really bad, I would say. So I really needed that COVID break. So academically, I was really excited, and it did boost me up to be like how I am now. But like socially, I was gone.
Yeah, so when we got that email, we were on the trip, and I felt like, at first, I think I honestly felt pretty excited. I'm like, I'm off school, because they only announced it for 2 weeks at that first time, like saying like, hey, we're extending spring break for like the next week to figure out like kind of what's going on. And I was like, dang, we get another week, you know, I'm just gonna spend that time at home. And then at the same time though, I was a little nervous too, because of like all of my school supplies is in my dorm room. So I was like trying to plan out like how I was gonna get my stuff from my room. And luckily, right after that trip, we was able to get in my room and get my stuff, like my laptop and all my school stuff, and head on home. And in my moment reaction, I was excited. Honestly, I wasn't doing school. I was going home, maybe a little nervous, just because I think like all the toilet paper memes were starting to happen, or like they were being sold out all the stores and all that stuff. But then after it, like after those 2 weeks when it was like, hey, we're gonna stay home the whole semester, make a trip to go get your stuff from the dorms. That was a little different because I was excited to be at home, but at the same time, I mean, it was our freshman year, so we were missing out a lot on like the college experience, and like we got a taste of independence. Then all of a sudden, at least most of us went home. You stayed at school, right?
Yeah, I did.
So, yeah, you stayed at school. I remember because we would FaceTime you and talk a little bit, but yeah, most of us went back home. So
I remember like for like that week before, everyone's like, "Oh, did you hear about this COVID thing going around?" Like, "Oh, I'm glad that we don't have to deal with that and all that." And then it was like, "Oh, it's in the U.S. now," and then we're all like, "What's happening?" But like in the moment when they were like, "Oh yeah, we're just gonna have like an extra long spring break," everybody was just like, "Yeah, we'll be back in a few weeks. It'll be fine."
Yeah.
And it didn't really like hit me until like at the end of the school year when they were like, "Yeah, we're not gonna come back at all," and like just the teachers just kind of like gave up. You could tell towards the end of the year. So it was like at first everybody was like in denial, and then after a while it was just like, okay, this is what's happening, and like everybody gets A's. You know.
Ours we got shut down like a week before spring break, I think. So it's like spring break started early, so it was like kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
But then after spring break, we were all planning to go back to school, but we never did. And like my spring break plans got canceled, so I was like sad. But
I remember that I was in Arizona. I was in Monument Valley, Arizona, and I remember I was in like a hotel, or no, like we were driving to like our hotel and we had no service. So like I remember getting to the hotel and then I got like Wi-Fi, and then I just got like an influx of like notifications, and I like I remember like seeing people say like, oh, like spring break's been extended and stuff like that. And then I remember just reading the email, and that was crazy. Like I was like, oh shoot, spring break's being extended. And I didn't really know what to make of it. I didn't expect it to obviously extend way longer than just 2 weeks, but I mean that was a big surprise when I read that email and stuff like that, and like everything kind of happened at once. Like school got canceled. I remember like I don't know, there were a bunch of like sports leagues that got shut down, and like I don't know, like airports were closed, or like I think like they shut down like international travel or something like that day. So there's a lot that happened like on that day. So it's pretty wild, pretty crazy to think about.
So now we get through what happens after March 11th. And as we can see, we have my email from my RA, as well as we decided just to try to carry on with the rest of our trip. Try to have the most fun we can and just honor God throughout what we do on this trip. And it really was a fun trip, looking back at it. And it was a hard time putting the thought off. And this is me just trying to live on campus through what happens next. And then I made a video being like, okay, COVID's ICU's closed. Now what do we do? So what's next? And I think that video did decent. But yeah, this was a scary time. With that being said, I want to ask my friends how their COVID time was.
Mixed bag.
Mm-hmm.
Being at home was rough. I was in a relationship at the time that was pretty bad, so it was very much, I got a lot more roped into some more toxic elements of that, and I had some stuff in my family that was kind of coming to a boiling point even before that, so being all stuck together,
Yeah.
it was pretty rough. So then by the time the fall semester came back around, even though we were still in COVID, I still went to the dorms, so I could be out of that situation. And
Yeah.
everything kind of exploded, but for the best. And very weird experience being in a dorm during all of that. I remember going on the quad, walking around the quad and just not seeing a single person.
Yeah.
Just going on a lot of drives to just get out. And then that same year, the spring semester felt very different. Just, I don't know, maybe we were more used to it, knew how to cope with it better.
Yeah.
Things in my own life had changed at that point. Yeah, and then, I don't know, just by the time everything was opening up, that was just kind of the normal.
With the COVID or the COVID video, it's going to be just what was your experience in COVID, if you want to share?
I think my experience was basically the same as everyone else's. I don't think I had any. The world shut down, so did we, and I don't want to belittle anyone's experience with it, but I think we all had our crazy revelations about the people in our lives and who stuck together and who didn't, who's a real friend, who's not. We had the low points and then the high points because there weren't many, and then the world started opening up. I think being an RA and working through COVID and having to work in the cesspool of the dorms was tough, and I definitely don't think it helped the situation, helped my situation at all. But I don't know. I think COVID sucks, and we're still kind of recoiling from it. And I don't think we'll be out of it for a few more years. But, and I don't mean the disease going around. I mean the social impacts of it. Because kids in school are struggling too. But I think some good things also came out of it. My grad school cohort is very close because we all went through COVID in undergrad, and we all know that we appreciate what the proximity and the camaraderie that comes with going to school together, which is something that the previous classes didn't have because they came in during COVID or they got shut down during COVID. So I think some good things came out of it, some really positive changes about the way that we do things. So
yeah, COVID was a fun time, and we're still seeing effect. Say that sarcastic.
Fun, but I'll take it.
As you can most likely assume, it was horrible. I'm recalling I did not get sick. I didn't get COVID, but doing all my coursework online via Zoom was dreadful. I remember I was taking American literature, and one of my professors was very explicit about his own opinions about how ISU was handling everything, and he was very open with us, and I appreciate that because I think that was appropriate, in that space and time, to be very explicit and to be very open about what was going on, not downplaying it because it was such a horrible situation for everybody in all areas of education. But yeah, it was not a good experience.
I feel like it was a time where I kind of realized I wasn't happy with certain things in my life, and I could either use it to just be depressed and stay in my room all day, which was very tempting, or I could just get through it, because I feel like my mindset was this cannot possibly last forever. Yeah. And I don't want to come out of this depressed. I came out of it with anxiety through the roof, but I tried to use it to benefit me as much as I could. I was if I'm not going to get a good education, I might as well train.
And going into that, what would you say your experience was going through COVID? What did you feel? How was it for you and all that?
It was fine. I got COVID, I think, 3 times. I got it a bunch. but I mean, that's over, I think 2.5 years. I probably got it 3 times.
Yeah.
The first time was probably the worst. I lost my sense of taste.
Oh yeah.
My sense of smell. It was not good. But overall, didn't like COVID. I didn't like everything getting shut down. I didn't like having to wear a mask. It just like all these things were just like really annoying. And it's like, I think the most annoying thing was like, there's just a bunch of question marks. Like, it seemed like nobody knew exactly what was going on. It was like I was being told things by my teachers that I was like, okay, this is just weird. And I'm like, I don't know. It's all.
Yeah.
And looking back at it now, I have a completely different outlook. But I don't know if I want to get into that on here.
It's up to you.
Yeah, no, I think I'd rather not.
No, that's fair. And yeah, that was COVID. It was a great time. Totally.
Woo! COVID. For the 2 weeks we got off, and then after that is something else.
Yeah. Just an interesting time. Then, going into that, talking about interesting times.
Yeah, I think it's the time where I grew tremendously in my relationship with Jesus. I learned some just fun, basic skills. I learned how to speak Chinese a little bit and got to improve in my guitar and piano playing skills. And then I really enjoyed getting to spend time with the guys, and whenever I got to see them, it makes it more special, especially like going to the lake house or just having more close intentional time because we can't go many places, which was fun. I think overall, like, I would be someone that said I had a very positive experience, and not that I enjoyed COVID. In a sense of learning and academics, I did not like COVID at all. But in terms of like social and personal and other various ways, it was a blessing that I didn't realize.
So yeah, like at first I was super excited, and then my junior year, when we like actually like was given the option to either go in school or stay home, I chose to stay home because I thought that I like honestly was like, that's gonna be the best option for me, because then I can do my schoolwork whenever I want to. All I need to do is just join this Zoom call, listen, which most of the time I would just sleep during my Zoom calls, but I honestly couldn't have gotten better grades from doing my schoolwork on my own time. And it honestly like helped me so much academically, and that's kind of how I developed into being like a good student now, like knowing what study habits work for me, when I need to do my work, and just like techniques of me doing my work and all that stuff. And that's definitely helped me all throughout college, which I'm actually very grateful for COVID for like helping me with all that stuff. And then socially, I would say it like kind of broke me down at like sophomore to like junior year. I would say socially that was probably like the worst part of my life, just because I wasn't getting those social interactions and all that stuff. And then I was really nervous because I know how to do summer school, because I didn't complete like another like history credit that like I needed for ISU. So I did summer school going into my senior year, and I had to go in, and they didn't have like a hybrid option. And I was really nervous about it. Just because like I like wasn't socially, like I was very socially awkward within that time frame, just because like I did cheer, yeah, but those are the only people that I've seen like this whole entire time. So I was really scared and nervous. But then I feel like I got right back into it right away. And I was like right back to normal. So I would only say that like it really affected me socially was during that like quarantine time. I did end up getting COVID from one of my friends. When I first went to go to Michigan to meet Gavin, my boyfriend, we ended up getting, well, she ended up getting COVID. And then she asked me, hey, you want to go to Target to get cough drops with me? And I didn't think anything of it. And I was like, yeah, sure. And then she got COVID the next morning. And I had to leave school early. And I didn't have COVID at the time. But then the next day after quarantining, I did have COVID.
Oh.
And it wasn't that bad. I didn't like being like separated from everyone. And I feel like I had no energy. But honestly, like I didn't really have it that bad. I had like low energy, which is nothing compared to like what everyone else went through.
Yeah.
And then like my parents did get COVID, and my stepmom's parents got COVID too. So like for them, watching them get COVID, I guess that was like more like the scarier moment rather than myself having it, because I know I can handle it. But like to me, they're like, I don't know, like I feel like with them it was harder for them to handle it because they're older and all that stuff. When it's like me, I know I can definitely handle a sickness. So it was kind of harder to watch them go through it rather than me. But yeah.
Very broad question. You know, COVID lasted a while, very long time. I don't know. I think you look at it and it's like you can look at all the negatives of it, you can look at all the positives of it, and I think you can see a lot of both. But I think my overall experience it wasn't good or bad. It was just kind of interesting. You know, the whole world kind of slowed down. You gotta like, I don't know. I think just think more. You can just like focus on school more. I remember you're a fellow hammock person. I hammocked a lot during that summer and spring semester. Just set up a hammock in my backyard. And then sophomore year, luckily I went back to school, which was nice. So like everything was still kind of closed, but we all still like went and hung out. So I think like since I went back to school is a really good choice. But if I stayed home that sophomore year, I don't know if it would have been as much. So luckily I didn't like experience too much like loneliness or anything. It was a good time.
Yeah, thank you.
It wasn't that bad, especially because COVID started like in the summer, so my friends and I would always just like hang out outside. Plus I picked up a whole bunch of new hobbies. I did like those like crazy paint by number things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Did you do the something bread, sourdough bread, I think it was.
No, but we did like a lot of cooking, especially like for Easter. My sister and I would like make a whole bunch of pies.
Did you enjoy your time during COVID or not really?
Yeah, I'd say I did.
Do you think it helps you better understand yourself a little bit, or reflecting on the COVID experience?
I'd say yeah. It helped me more understand myself and help me figure out my hair kind of. Not really, I'm still trying to figure out how my hair works, but I tried like all like those like new things, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I think like the first like 2 months of COVID honestly was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Because like that was like March, April, and May of 2020. So that was like the rest of spring semester of school was like those like 3 months. And honestly, I thought it was pretty fun. Like, you know, I was like just sitting at home, like doing online classes, and like I was just like, I don't know, I feel like I was spending a lot of time with my family. Like we just like watch movies and like play games, and like I would go for walks because there was nothing else to do besides like I don't know, you couldn't really go anywhere. So like I would just go for walks. And so that was kind of fun. But then I think after the 3 months, I was like, all right, like, I kind of want to go back to regular life.
Yeah.
But, and then I think like, my entire like our entire sophomore year was like completely in, I guess, like lockdown, or I don't know what you'd call it. Like classes were online, and like there was really no in-person stuff for anything at ISU.
Yeah.
So that was like a unique experience. I think I definitely missed like kind of the in-person interactions and stuff with people. Like I don't know, like Cornerstone, like I feel like I didn't see like really anybody outside of like the people I lived with and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely missed that. I missed like, I don't know, like in person like interactions in class and stuff. So yeah, that was like a kind of a bizarre, unique year, I guess. And then I think I remember getting a taste of like just normal life because the summer of 2021 I went to LT, and like that summer, that was like when the vaccine rolled out or whatever.
Yeah.
For like 2 months, and that just so happened to be when I was out there that summer at Estes Park, where like everything was normal. Like there was no like masks, there was no like social distancing or anything, and it kind of felt like everything kind of passed and stuff. And I enjoyed it because like there was as far as like the like not really having any sort of COVID experience, like everything seemed normal. And then I think when we came back, there was like a new variant or something, and they like the Delta variant or something like that.
Yeah.
Like masks and like restrictions were like all that kind of stuff was put back in place. It's like, oh crap, like that sucks. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was a unique experience. Like, I mean, I definitely don't miss the lockdowns or anything, and like the masks. But I don't know. I mean, it was a unique experience because I don't think. I mean, yeah, it's something that nobody experienced before, and I don't think like we'll ever experience that again, like in that fashion. So yeah, it was unique.
So real quick, this period will show just different emails that I've gotten throughout the rest of my freshman year spring semester, as well as just what I did throughout COVID, because it was a scary time. And so what was COVID like for me? Well, it was a time of hardship, and looking back at it, a big season of growth. I was scared I just wanted to control my life, control things. And during this season, it was a big time of just me letting control of my life, just giving it to God, because I wanted to be in control, and I looking back at it now, I'm not in control of everything. And so I did go through COVID for a big majority part of my college career, and it has helped me form a lot of good memories for me. It has helped me get the RA job, which helped me get the SAM job, and now the office assistant position, as well as just sparked my passion for wanting to work at a college, wanting to work with college students. COVID helped me get closer with my friends and helped me get more deeper in my faith, because it was a big period where I was like, okay, I have to let go and just trust in God and what He does.
Hey, they're sexy.
I will say, I have had my hardships. I did lose a couple important people in my life during this period. I don't know if it was specifically because it was due to COVID.
Adrian, how's your day been?
But I lost important people in my life. Thankfully, they didn't die due to COVID.
Okay, cool.
I got tormented by residents and had a lot of dark times during this period of wearing face coverings and just COVID being a thing.
Hey, Gavin.
Throughout those dark times, it has helped me to learn a lot about myself, which led me to grow into the person who I am today. So, yeah. COVID was a hard time. It was very interesting. And looking back at it, ending off the semester with COVID was weird. But being and going throughout COVID, I would still do it because it helped me grow and opened a lot of doors still. And I guess this overall message that I want to get across to you all is, within those dark times and just when things seem dark, that's okay. There will be light at the end of the tunnel, and God will be with us, and just, yeah. Anyways, I want to say thank you all so much for watching. I know this is one of my longer videos, but hopefully you all enjoyed the storytelling. If you do, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what I should work on next. Thank you all.
Hi guys, this is Lewis, back with my 1 second of the day. Yeah, I'm moving out. This is sad. Yeah. Of the day. Yeah, I'm moving out. This is sad. Yeah. Who are you sending that to?
Future educators. My ass.
Am I in it?
No.
Can you send that to me at least?
Yeah. Would you like to say something to them?
Greg, I'm sorry.
And then we were like all excited about it.
To kind of go into, Mimi, do you want to say anything?
No, it's just bringing back a lot of thinking about me not sleeping, of staying up until 5 a.m. every single day.
Maybe you're such a crackhead. We can't take you anywhere.
Well, I don't know what was wrong with the, like, I was not sleeping.
Yep.
I just couldn't sleep either. Because you'd be like, why are you awake? Go to sleep. And I'd be like, no, please, let me talk to you. I'm bored.
The game pigeon games at like 3 a.m.
He's like, oh my god, nothing's happening at trash. I'd be like, wow, I'm in bed because it's cold.
You know what hit though?
Is this ready?
Stirred around a little bit.
Laughing. I was like, that's not gonna happen. and then it kind of happened.
Kind of crazy.
I know. It was a lovely time, let me tell you, being at school when no one was around.
I bet it was interesting.
Sure was.
Part of the COVID thing. I'm glad that I was like, what, a sophomore when it happened?
Yeah.
And not like, my sister was supposed to be moving in to her dorm. Right? Yeah, we had all of our stuff packed up, and then Loyola said, actually, everything's going to be online this semester. And then we had to like put everything away, and she had to do her first semester of college like at home online, which sucked for her.
Yeah. That year, or that semester when your sister went, it was my first year as an RA. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah. With the masks.
You all were a lot more fun. You all were a lot more fun. Everyone just stayed in their rooms. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then didn't your whole floor get COVID? Or something? From a certain someone? Yeah, your first year. Oh yeah, weren't you in Wadi?
Yeah.
Your first year? Yeah.
I would say all of it. COVID's a weird time period.
Yeah.
So I've been lumping it, being like, whatever you defined was your time period,
Right.
That's what we'll talk about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Knock on wood, we don't experience that ever.
Was it-
I was like, knock on wood, we don't experience anything ever again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hopefully, because wasn't it like Spanish flu was like 1918, so that was like 100 years ago.
Yeah.
100 years from now, we'll be dead. So. Not anything.
Yeah, but yeah, it was a interesting time to say the least. Thank you. Yeah, I just remember Ian. We were in a small group, and he was talking about it, and that was like my first experience. And then roommates also talking about it and saying, "Oh yeah, if we shut down, we'll just have 2 weeks where we isolate, and then we'll go back to normal." Obviously,
Easy to say without foresight.
What? Sorry.
I'd say easy to say without foresight, which I did.
I can't hear you. Oh no. Okay. No.
Hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, wait.
Okay. No.
Alright, but you can hear me now.
Yes. Hello. Post Lewis editing video person. If you made it this far, damn, you made it to like 50 minutes. Congratulations. But thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I hope to see you all more on the next time. Catch you all on the waves.